Hello, classmates. Dr. Carey. My name is Gerald Fortune. I'm an inspiring screenwriter. I desire to become the fully realized version of myself as a screenwriter, accepted by my peers and able to utilize the entire body of my personal experiences, the good, the bad, and the ugly, for film. I want to be able to express those experiences through the craft of screenwriting and thereafter film direction. I want to share my life through creative expression. When I look back now through a different lens with the understanding of universal laws and archetypes and the invisible forces that tend to move us around whether we are aware of them or not. Because of these forces, on a constant search for equilibrium and balance, they move us through personal experiences that tend to be painful or unpleasant. But under closer inspection, this is exactly where our art lies. I would like to write movies and make movies that heal, teach, and share, and in fact make the world a smaller place. Not through preaching, but through using the craft of writing and the medium of filmmaking as a didactic art form. My first point from the book Mastery by Robert Greene in the Return to Your Origins. What if there were other forces in the world equally visible and yet equally powerful ones that were undiscovered or not yet understood? This is a point that he brings out about Albert Einstein, and so it's easy to see why that resonated with me through the introduction. Number two was occupy the perfect niche. The career world is an ecological system. People occupy particular fields within which they must compete for resources and survival. The more people in a crowded space, the harder it is to thrive there. And so this point makes me think about trying to break into the film industry as a screenwriter maybe 15 or 20 years ago without the streaming wars of Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, and Apple, and YouTube, the ability to make YouTube web series, and all of this creating a war with movie theaters that are ultimately going to have to produce much more spectacular films. So in my opinion, I think we're right on the brink of a creative renaissance. Number three, avoid the false path, the rebellion strategy in reference to Mozart. It was his father that represented more than an obstacle. He was in fact ruining his life, his health, and his confidence. And I can kind of relate to that. I'm sure I'm not the only one. Number four, letting go of the past, the adaptation strategy. If change is forced upon you, as it was Freddie Roach, you must resist the temptation to overact or feel sorry for yourself. Well, sometimes when change hits us, if we're not ready for it, we will resist change at all costs. And on the other side of change is where life exists. So that kind of stuck out to me. Number five, find your way back, the life or death strategy. The way back requires a sacrifice. You cannot have everything in the present. The road of mastery requires patience. You will have to keep your focus for 5 to 10 years down the road when you can reap the rewards of your effort. And this is my personal turning point right here. After working the construction world for over 22 years as a union bricklayer, I was facing another seasonal layoff, and what was different this time was the unions in Wisconsin was shutting down. This was right at my 44th birthday. So I had to, for some reason, go to the back of the line of all these out-of-state workers. And I can remember this time, it was in the summer, which was like our busiest season. It was just before my 44th birthday in July. and I was making hundreds of calls a week trying to get to a construction site, willing to travel hours, willing to stay in hotels and work from hotels just to be able to wait for the next layoff period. And I remember at this point was when I decided I was no longer going to be a construction worker. I decided to go back to school and pursue what I was passionate about my entire life, which was writing, because I knew if, no matter what came my way, I would always write, because this is something that I found solace in. And so that's when I got into the bachelor program at Full Sail for creative writing. My personal goals, well, within the next 3 weeks, I think it was, I have about 15 to 20 unpolished log lines that I need to finish so that I can develop them into synopses and treatments and start developing my portfolio. I know I have like a creative link where I don't have a problem with being creative when I want to, but I need to develop these log lines into a synopsis. So I think that'll be my goal for the next few weeks. Thanks for watching my video. I hope it was informative in some way.